TR8.
Now, yeah, this is something special. Now, it's a TR8 pre-production model. According to the vendor and the evidence that's provided with it, it was built obviously by the factory, TR8, went to America to be evaluated. I think they built something like as many as 70 pre-production TR8s. Quite a lump number, but very, very few right-hand drive British. This was left-hand drive initially, been converted to right-hand drive, I presume when it came back from America. We think it maybe spent something like 18 months over in America being evaluated to see if the Americans would let them in. Now, if it got a Chevrolet badge on it, be no problem with it. It'd be the biggest gas guzzling, polluting old thing in the world, but of course it would have got rubber stamp, wouldn't it? As it's British, it's got to go through all the paraphernalia, the red tape and all the rest of it, health and safety and all that business. Anyway, eventually they rubber stamps it. So this is one of them cars. Very, very unusual car, very, very rare car. Now, just recently, I took an awful lot of stick about that Detectorist TR7 that people said I was slating. I weren't slating, but TR7s lay themselves wide open to slating, because we all know, those of us that have been in the trade any length of time, contrary to what some of them comments on the internet have been, a load of rubbish, they don't understand what they're talking about, but we all know in the trade that TR7s were a pretty poor car. You know, they weren't a very nice looking car, they were a wedgy thing that followed the TR6. TR6 was obviously a bit of an iconic model, if you like, the last of the muscle cars, we called it TR6. Then they brought in an hairdresser's car, and here it is, this is it. But obviously, our attitudes change, and we forgive and forget and all the rest of it, and now, of course, all of a sudden, there's a massive following out there for TR7, TR8. But the fact is, there's not many genuine factory TR8s. There's very few, if any, pre-production TR8s out there. Apparently, all in the paperwork, there's all a big write-up and all the rest of it. There's a club magazine signed by Harris, can't remember his surname, the guy that designed the TR7, and a number of other British layman cars, all signed, there's a little certificate signed in there, what have you. I picked the car up yesterday from an owner that's had it many years, and I'm just enamoured with it. I think it's fantastic. I really do rate it. There's a little bit of knob rot on this door here, just at the corner. And when people say, well, it ain't gone through, it will do when I touch it through the grinder air. So there's a little bit there, look. But other than that, as far as I can see, the rest of it is absolutely lovely. I felt all the arches when it was on the lorry. I took it out, it's all filmed. I took it out for a test drive yesterday at Kirby Stephen. Absolutely gorgeous. Loved it to bits, fantastic. Power steering, not as effective as I would like it to be, but it's power steering, so that's fine. Beautiful gearbox, 5-speed gearbox, superb. None of this banging and jumping about when you go over bumps like an average TR7 will do. Obviously it's got the old Buick V8 in it, which you can't go far wrong with it, can you? Got American bumpers, as you can see, proper wheels as it should have. The whole thing is just an amazing car. And when you compare it, and you've got to compare it because common sense has got to prevail here, to that Detectorist vehicle, that was a TR7, not in the same league as this car, both in model and condition. No way. Couldn't hold a candle to this car. Look at it. Look how grown it is under the bonnet. Same in the boot and what have you. And the interior. The interior wants some new sponge in the driver's seat. Certainly the back part of the driver's seat. That wants re-sponging. You know, she's gone a bit. Well, she's gone. She's broken up inside, so it wants some new sponge. No big deal. Original carpets, look. And as soon as I got there yesterday to pick this car up at Kirby Stephen Station, and I opened the door, as soon as I opened that door, I smelt a year or two old TR7. Straight away. You can't argue it. It smells just as it should smell. Then I drove it, and then I found how lovely it is. Absolutely gorgeous. And I was talking to the owner, and I said, how lovely, beautiful V8, no radio in it. He said, well, I never bothered putting a radio in it because I'd rather hear the engine. And he's dead right, beautiful. And I said to him, we're driving it around, and I said, what a lovely, smooth old car, but lethargic. And they are, these V8s. They don't really get going. I would think 0 to 30, a TR7, a four-cylinder TR7 would probably beat it off the start. But It's just gorgeous. It just sort of drives itself. It's a proper car. So those of you out there that are looking for an absolutely genuine TR8 with fantastic history, I honestly can't see how you can beat this, because now it smells like a new car.